Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for some bad jokes, some pretty bad drawings, and a life story. Because that's what we're doing today. We're doing a Draw My Life video. So grab a snack, sit back, and enjoy the video. Story begins with my mom, plus my dad. My dad's bald, so he doesn't really need any hair. And I'm gonna draw a bed because, that's where all the magic happens. But before I was born, it was my sister who was here. And there is me. I was not born yet, so I'm just gonna draw a little body. And I grew up in, Harlem, so there's a bunch of apartment buildings. Hold on, let me So I was born at St. Luke's Hospital, but I was raised in an apartment building for the first 11 years of my life. So here is the 12th floor. And I would live there for 11 great years. I had an overview of the river that was nearby, and it was like a complex, so there was a bunch of apartment buildings. Hold on, let me erase this bed so I don't confuse you guys. There we go. So, and the apartment was called Savoy Park. That's the name of the complex. And we have a store literally a block away. Then we have my daycare, which was on 100 and 24th Street. My daycare was pretty cool. It made me who I am today, so wherever my teachers are, shout out to them. So basically the first 5 years of my life were, as they sound, really boring. I just showed you the daycare, pretty much where I grew up. And now it's time to move on to 6 to 10. So you could call these the glory years. These were my best years. So I started playing t-ball. I started liking baseball, so I'm gonna draw a little stand here. Oh, that's see, I'm really bad at drawing. So here is the little stand, and here's the ball, and I had a bat. And I really started enjoying t-ball, baseball, and I was actually really good. I was, before 10 years old, before 11 years old, I made a decision not to do a AAA or AA, which one after I played. But I decided to not go farther in because I didn't have the commitment for it. So I also started playing basketball. So I guess you could just draw like that. See, I am really, really bad at drawing, so just bear with me here. So there's the basketball, and here's the hoop. And there was a little basketball court like two buildings behind mine, so I used to go there with my dad all the time, and we used to play basketball. And we used to just hang out there. That was like a pretty good hangout spot. We had picnics there. The highway was right there, so we could see all the cars, and the river was right there, so we could see a good view of like speedboats and boats that came by. Not really big boats came by, just these small like boats that people just cruise on. See, that's not even a boat. I'm really bad at drawing. I also had a hold on, let me erase this first. So I had like also a collection of cars. So my room was like this, and pretty much like half the room was filled with cars. If you also don't, oh god, that is literally the worst drawing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, so like Hess trucks, I used to collect those too. I have like all of them except for maybe like 1 year, I think, that I missed out on, because that was like the year that they stopped selling them. Like, you could just pick them up anywhere. You had to order them online. So I used to live near this Hess gas station, and like they would sell like Hess trucks. So often my dad would go there to get gas, obviously, but then like during Christmas time he would get gas, and he would also pick up like a Hess truck for me. I would never know. I mean, I knew I was getting one for Christmas every year, but I didn't know that I was like actually gonna get one. So that's pretty much like 6 to 9 years old, I guess. But there's also more. During those years, I also gonna try drawing a piano, because I also played piano. So these are like the keys, right? And then you have the stand, and then the chair. And this was me. And I performed at a recital often, so there would be people in the background listening and watching me. My teacher would be sitting right next to me. I don't remember all my teachers' names because I had a few. But yeah, these are all my family and friends. And most of my friends actually played piano too, so it was kind of easy to play in front of them, because I knew that I feel comfortable around them. I was like actually really, really good at piano, so I was going to consider to keep moving, just like baseball, but I didn't have the commitment for it. So that's gone. Honestly, I still play keyboard here and there, but I'm just not like, the finger god of like piano anymore. I also started, next on my list is Cub Scouts. I was really into like the adventure thing, so I was always like wanting to explore, so I started Cub Scouts. Like literally like a few blocks down from the apartment building was like a Boy Scout meeting point, so there was a troop there, 540, and we had some good times together. But not everything is permanent, so I ended up finding another troop, which ultimately was the best troop, which was Troop 422, which was like 23rd Street. We had meetings in a church, and we used to often go on like trips, and I made some of my best friends there. This would be my friend Axel. He when we went to a trip to Frost Valley, he had his foot was basically frozen, so he had a pretty, let's just say, not a good time. And his brother, I think they were twins, if I'm sure. His brother was named, so this is Axel, and this is Lucas. Lucas was pretty much my best friend, but like I said before, not everything is permanent. So I'll get into that later. How I ended up moving away from 422. I let me just clean this up, and I clean up the board, and I'm back. So next on the list, I had my. So as you know, before I collected cars in my room, but I never said that I actually had my own room for a while. So it was just me, and I also had a bunk bed, but the bottom bunk was used for like storage. So this was, and I actually used it. I used it like a couple of years ago, and I got rid of it because I'm not a child anymore and I don't really need a bunk bed. So this was my bed, and this was like storage for like my cars, I should say. And it was just me, and I also had a TV in my room, so basically the apartment was small, so I never came out of my room except if I watched like a show with my mom or my dad, which was very like not often. And my sister's room was next to me, and I often used to go in there and hide in there and sneak in there and take stuff from her. But it was pretty much a solo act for like 3 years, I should say, because I didn't have my own room for all this time. But like I'd say like 7 to 10 years old, I have my own room. Yeah, so that's pretty much the room. And I was also in a talented and gifted school. And actually, funny enough, the name of the school is actually called TAG. So this is TAG. I always thought it was like just TAG. I didn't know it actually stood for something. But later on, I figured out. And it was basically a talented and gifted school. So only like, so my parents and my teachers would only expect like great grades. So like, you know how you get like hundreds and stuff on tests? Well, this school was based on like a 1 through 4 system. So if you got like a really bad grade, it would most likely be a 2 or a 1. And if I ever came home with a 2 or 1, I would literally be beaten. And my school had a little basketball court, and it also had just like this tennis court in the back too, but it was on like the opposite side. So I don't really know how to draw a tennis court. There we go. And I often used to play, not actually, this was not a tennis court. What am I saying? I mean, I can draw it the same, but it was a handball court. So there was like this giant wall in the middle, and often I would play handball there, but more often we would play like tag and stuff in there. And there were like these little like hiding spots here and here that I would play in, and I would often win. And then so the space between the basketball court and the handball court was this big courtyard, and we would play, like freeze tag and hide and seek. And actually, one of my good friends, Clarence, he used to bring like a football. So that is a I've literally hit my all-time low drawing, but you know what? It wouldn't be a draw my life video without bad drawings, right? I mean, these videos are popular for that, so football, and we would play football. Obviously, no tackle because the ground was really hard, and also it's literally school property. So if anybody got hurt, then like bad things would happen. And speaking of my good friend Clarence, I had many. Hold on, let me get back to you when I erase this. And so I'm trying to gonna keep this a little shorter. This ended up being a little longer than I expected, but you know, it's fine. So I had in tag, I had many friends. So when I said 422 I had to leave, that's because, you know, I moved. Obviously, I moved up here where I live now. This was back in like 2016. So I had to leave all my friends, and they gave me like this card of like appreciation, and basically everybody signed it who I knew. And I would never see them face to face till this day. So, and I'm honestly not glad that I left them, but I made new friends here, and this is pretty much a more permanent situation. So I've got to make do with what I got. And so I live in a house now. My parents wanted to move in to a house because that apartment was just getting way too crammed. And this is my room. This is the living room. My writing is terrible too. This is sister's room. And this would be laundry room. And then of course my mom's bedroom is, the master bedroom is right next to mine. And the kitchen is right behind the living room. So I was about like 11 when I moved here. Just getting ready for 6th grade. And I spent 6th through current grade, which is 9th grade. And it's pretty much taken me here where I am now. I've obviously played basketball here, but not like going towards pros or anything, just for fun. I haven't thrown a baseball since I quit baseball, so that's a yikester. And this is pretty much my life now. I mean, I don't really have to go into details about what's going on right now because there's a lot of bad things going on in the world with the virus and with the, you know, the racism thing that just went this month. But that's pretty much gonna do it for Draw My Life video. Hope you enjoyed. Actually, so hope you enjoyed. Subscribe down below. It's really self-explanatory. Just hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos from my channel. Today marks the first official video. Go check out yesterday's video. It's pretty sick. NASA launched their SpaceX Dragon into space successfully. Sorry, I can't talk. But check that video out and subscribe. Drop a like on this video and stay tuned for next week's video. See you.